This is Grace's 90th birthday celebration, and it's going to be a surprise. We're waiting for her to arrive as we're gathered here, and hopefully she won't keel over from the shock of it all.
Okay. So, Neil, how do you know Grace? How long have you known her?
She was my grandparents' neighbor for many, many years, and now she's my neighbor. She lives 2 doors down from me.
How would you describe Grace?
Oh, she's just the nicest person in the world. She'll do anything for anybody, and she's very sweet.
When you think of her, do you think of any stories or anything like?
You know, when my grandparents lived there, you know, they were getting a little bit older, and she would actually come over and scrub their kitchen floors. And we always wanted to take her to lunch or anything, and she would never do it. So we'd give her little coffee gift cards from Starbucks, and that's all she'd take. But she was just so sweet.
Thanks, Neil.
No problem.
Stop. Word. So, what's your name?
My name is Margie.
And how do you know Grace, and how long have you known her?
I've probably known Grace for about 15 years, but she was
She's in the shop, right?
yeah. She was a neighbor of my mom and dad, and she became part of the family, and she was a very big help to us when they were getting sick and not as well. They used to pile into my dad's little pickup, all 3 of them, and go out to dinner, and Grace has always been there.
Where would they go out to dinner?
Oh, they loved IHOPs. That was their favorite place.
International House of Pancakes?
Yes, that's right. And, of course, 3 people didn't fit in that little truck, so somebody would have to sit on somebody else's lap. But Grace would be the driver, and they would all giggle and laugh, and she's just a wonderful person.
How would you describe her?
Well, she's very quiet until you get to know her. She's very much into volunteering in the community. I know that she's worked so hard in the library and at the school. She loves to walk. She's just a great walker. One time I made the mistake of going with her, and she walked me all the way down to the beach and around town and back. I was exhausted. But she was still going strong.
Any other stories of Grace come to mind?
Let's see. What else does she do? Well, she's just always been there, taking care of my mom and dad. You know, I would say, let me pay you, Grace, and she would never take a dime. She didn't want any money, so I would pay her off in Starbucks cards. And she loved to go to Starbucks. And now, even now, she calls me and wants to go out to coffee with me. So.
What does she order at Starbucks?
Well, she orders regular coffee, I think, most of the time. Maybe some of the fancier ones. And she always wants to have a little roll. And she's just a real sweetheart.
Do you want to wish her a happy birthday to the camera?
Yes. Happy birthday, Grace. We're so happy to have the party for you. You really deserve it.
Okay, thanks a lot. Oh, hi, and you are?
I'm Phyllis Hansen.
And how long have you known Grace, and how do you...
I've known Grace for probably 50 years, maybe a little longer.
How do you know her?
Well, of course, she was a librarian, and so I know her through that. She was in my lunch bunch when we ladies we weren't that old at that time, but anyway, we get together on Friday and go to lunch. And
Where'd you go?
Every place we had a list, and we would rotate. We'd go to. Pardon?
What were some of the places?
We'd go to Delgado's. We'd go to IHOP. We'd go to Hugo's. The one I can't even think of some of the ones we went to, but
Ruby?
Tony's and Tony's and all sorts of interesting places.
Do any stories come to mind about Grace? Or when you think of her in any particular way?
Not that she was just a real special friend, and she was a person that was more gracious to anybody. I mean,
Than the average than the average person.
right. Yeah, she's a very loving person. Yeah, so
Okay. And would you care to wish her happy birthday to the camera?
happy birthday, Grace. I love you.
Okay. So what's your name?
Richard Wright.
And how do you know Grace?
That's my sister.
And how long has she been your sister for?
Well, she's 18 months older than I am.
Really? Okay. It's almost 90 years. Now, can you tell me a story about her?
She used to beat the heck out of me in the crib.
In the crib?
Yeah, that's what they tell me anyway. Now, I don't remember things like that. I wouldn't bring it up, but that's what they said. No. We came to California in about 39.
From where?
Colorado.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Colorado. So, no, and then we came up to Carpinteria, and I went to business with my brother-in-law Jack for a while at the station, and that's when we moved into Carpinteria where Jack and Grace lived at the time.
And what did you do?
In trucking.
You were in the business too.
But at the end, yes, but I quit driving for a company and came up and went in business with Jack at the service station for a couple of years. And then I went back trucking.
So tell me, how would you describe Grace?
A very sweet girl and cares about people. She does, she really. And she's been a librarian for a long, long time there in Carpinteria for years. No, I couldn't say anything but nice about her because that's my sister.
Well, when you tell family stories, is there one you tell about Grace?
I don't tell on my sister.
Well, you're telling to your sister. I'm giving her the tape. But.
No, I don't. She just was an excellent student. She studied real hard in school in Burbank for time, and she studied real hard. She did real good. Is that my?
Yeah. Is that her there? Okay. Well, thanks for the interview. Why don't you pan over, Tara?
Your film.
No. I think it's in great shape. Has he told her the news yet? So you can just pan or keep it rolling. Yeah. Surprise! Birthday girl. Happy birthday.
Hi. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy birthday. I love you.
That's what Bob never met him.
Hi.
hear he likes to swing.
It's all over once they start to walk. What? It's all over once they start to walk. Skip the walking.
But I do that anyway to make the time
Got an expert videographer here. Okay. Now you are?
Sharon Green.
And how do you know Grace?
We've lived next door to Grace for 37 years.
How would you describe her?
Oh my gosh, Grace is like one of those ladies that will do anything for anyone. She's been there for us with the girls. She's like family. It's just hard to describe Grace. She's just very, very dear to us.
Any stories about her come to mind?
I just remember the first time when we had moved into our house and Grace and John moved back into the house about 2 years later. They had been renting it out. And we had 2 little girls, and we didn't really have a babysitter. And I remember one time Grace came over and she says, "Now, it's time you and Bill went out to dinner, and Jack and I will watch the girls for you." And it was just such a sweet, dear thing. And that's just the way they were. And when Jack would wash his car, he'd have Holly and the girls out in the back and serve them milk and cookies. And Grace would come out and sit with them and they're just great people. So.
Thanks a lot. Do you want to wish a happy birthday to her in the camera?
Yes. Happy birthday, Grace. We love you.
Okay, thanks a lot. And you are?
Steve Wright.
How do you know Grace?
She's my aunt. So Richard is my dad. So
how would you describe her?
just a great person. From the time I was real tiny, I've got nothing but fond memories. We used to come up here before we moved to Carpentry and go to the beach with them and her and Uncle Jack. And just, they don't make ladies like that anymore. So
they broke the mold somewhere.
Yep. I'm real fond of her and my mom. They're a lot alike.
Nice.
So.
Any stories come to mind of something she did or said? Or?
No, I just know when she asked you to do something, you just did it.
Because you didn't want to disappoint her?
Right. So, no, most of the time we were with my uncle. My dad and I, we did a lot of fishing together. And she put up with us when we came home with the dirty fish and stuff. So.
Did she clean them?
No. That was our job. Yeah, it was my job when I got old enough. Until then, my dad and my uncle did it. But as soon as I was old enough to handle the knife, they passed that on.
You want to wish her happy birthday to the camera?
Happy birthday and many more, Aunt Grace. I love you.
Nice. Okay, thanks a lot. We're recording.
Okay.
You are?
Pat Horwitz.
Barry Horwitz.
And how long have you known her and how do you know her?
We've lived across the street from Grace for
1979.
37 years or something like that. So
She's been there a lot of our life, and we're just so happy to be able to help her celebrate today.
How would you describe her?
Boy, nothing but good. Nothing
she's an
sweet.
amazing woman for, her age. She still about walks and till just recently mowed her own lawn. So it's an inspiration, let's say that.
She's an inspirational 90-year-old. Any stories come to mind of anything she ever did or said?
There's so many. Well,
Yeah,
I know that Gracie is my supply of figs and has been for the years because she has a fig tree that's to die for. And I always find little packages on the front porch. And I know that Gracie has been by, and now John has picked that up and left his. So, the on-giving gift.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gracie.
Thanks, guys. Grace, could I talk to you for a moment on
Us now too.
Yeah, we switched places. I'm the new librarian, and she's the new woman on the street. But anyway, time for a kiss.
Oh, Patty, good to see you. Aw, thank you.
Happy almost birthday.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you after you're finished with your
It's time for her close-up. Anyway, were you surprised at all today?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought we were just going to a restaurant and have lunch. This is a big one.
Yeah. Well, did you see it when you got out of the car, or did someone tell you when you were in the
No,
car?
I didn't know if I just knew Jesse was going to take me for lunch. So that was nice.
And how is it to be 90 years old?
It's all right.
Nothing great.
Well, it's just what goes with it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Some of the
No,
stuff. that
but
gets
I'm
going on.
lucky.
You still
I
feel
am.
fortunate about things.
Yes, I do.
Any philosophy of life or words of wisdom that you've gone by, or any
No.
advice? How
Just
about
live your life. Yeah. No, I don't have any. Everybody's different.
Well, you seem to kind of have a philosophy of tolerance and encouragement and positive.
So I hope so. Hope so.
Okay, well, thanks, Grace.
Thank you
Happy birthday.
very much. Thank you, Tara.
Sorry, Carol, could I interview you right where you are?
Not really.
You'd rather not?
I'm not a person that likes to be interviewed.
Okay, well, I was just going to ask you how you knew Grace and how long and so forth. You
I
don't
can't
want to...
remember.
Okay.
I can't remember how long, and I can't remember, way back in the 80s.
Okay. Can you say happy birthday to her?
I can. Happy birthday, Grace.
Good. Fine. Okay. So, what were you doing?
Well, I dressed up as Mrs. Santa Claus and went to the library. There's a room behind in the library where the kids would come and sit and listen to stories. I would read them a story, or I would tell them a story, and then they would ask questions about Santa Claus and what do you do when Santa Claus is, when Mr. Santa Claus is not here. And I said, there's lots of things Mrs. Santa Claus does to make your Christmas special, or something like that, and the kids really loved it. She kept asking me back, so I guess they did. They'd ask, where is your husband, is what they'd say. Where is your husband? And I said, well, Santa is really busy this time of year, and he couldn't come. So they usually accept that, but Santa is the one that's more important than Mrs. Santa Claus. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know how many years I did it. I was secretary at the junior high for 20 years, but I also taught Sunday school, so I had contact with a lot of kids. So I love kids. Well, I love people, but anyway. That was a good time with Grace, and she's a sweet person.
I'll operate the mic, yeah. Okay, we're recording. So, and you are?
Ron Hurd. I live right across the street from Grace.
And for how long?
Oh my gosh, 1971, but I knew her long before that.
Really?
Yeah. We grew up in town, probably moved here in 57, and I always remember as the library lady. She and Mrs. Risden.
How would you describe Grace?
Oh, she's a sweetheart. I've never heard a mean thing come out of her. And a couple of years ago, she broke her hip, and she says, "Oh my gosh, I said some really terrible things because it hurt so bad." We all got a kick out of that, but. Yeah, we lived across the street, and she was able to see the kids grow up and move on with their lives. And we've always tried to look out for her.
Nice. Any stories come to mind of Grace?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she had recovered from breaking her hip. And she was using a walker, or a cane, actually. Coming down the driveway, she broke her leg again. I couldn't understand why she was sunning herself out on the driveway. And of course, it clicked finally that, oh no, she'd hurt herself again. Ouch!
That's lousy. Well, would you care to wish her a happy birthday?
Yes, I would. Grace, happy birthday. Happy 90th. I know you're going to be around for a few more. So...
You'll still be around afterwards, too.
Oh, absolutely. You're a sweetheart. It's been wonderful living across from you and knowing all these years. Her son John and I went to school together, believe it or not. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That was good.
Okay.
Can you suggest somebody else that I could interview? Okay, and you are?
I'm Cheryl Taylor, and I'm Grace's third cousin through Jack. Jack was my dad's cousin.
How would you describe Grace?
Soft-hearted, loving person with lots of smiles.
Very true. Do any stories come to mind of something she did or said, or that?
It's not necessarily stories. We just come and visit because we're from Fresno, California, so we always drove up, and when we see Jack and Grace, it was always just a loving, fun time. You never knew what was going to happen.
Nice.
Just loving.
And you want to wish her a happy birthday?
Happy 90th birthday, Grace. We love you. Thank you.
That was good. Thanks a lot. So you are?
This is my great aunt, so I'm her great, nephew. Yeah.
Your name is?
Justin.
So how would you describe Grace?
Oh, she's like the the nicest person in my family. She's always been good to me since I was little, yeah. And I just want to wish her a happy birthday.
That's nice. Do any stories come to mind of something you heard her do or thought or?
No, she's just always taken good care of me. Nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah.
Well, say happy. You could say happy birthday to her.
Okay. Happy birthday, Aunt Grace. Have a good one.
Good one. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Let's tell me when. Okay, and you guys are? Who are you?
I'm her niece. I'm Richard's daughter.
And your name?
Chris.
And
this is Nathan.
Nathan, hi.
My grandson.
How would you describe Grace?
An angel. Her and I have been on a lot of field trips going up to see Sue and that. So she's been great. She's been with me and behind me my whole life. So, no, she's a great aunt.
Can you think of any times in your life when she was there and you appreciated her in particular?
So much. When I had my daughter Stephanie, she used to help watch her while I can continue on to school. So her and Uncle Jack were great to me.
Nice.
So.
You want to wish her a happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Aunt Grace, and I love you. Thank you.
That's good. Birding anytime. Nice to see you guys. What's your name?
Angela King.
Rod King.
And how do you know Grace?
She is Rod's great aunt.
How would you describe her?
Very joyful.
Very nice.
Always happy.
Nicest lady
always
ever.
upbeat.
Yes.
Any stories come to mind of when she was there in your life or more recently? Or
Not that I can think of.
No, I mean she attended our wedding and she's just the sweetest soul ever. So.
What did she do in your wedding?
Oh no, she was just at our wedding. So yeah, but just the memories coming to the house a little bit and stuff. So.
Would you like to wish her a happy birthday to the camera?
Very, very happy birthday.
Grace.
Happy 90th.
Thanks, guys. That's good. Okay, and would you like to say something?
I would. Happy birthday, Grace, from your favorite daughter-in-law. It's Patty. That's all.
How long have you known her?
For about 20 years.
And how would you describe her?
She's the most wonderful, giving, sweet and caring person that I actually know, probably.
All together of everybody?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
The people that are left. Yeah.
Any stories come to mind of?
No. She was my mother-in-law, so we had a lot of stories. She washed my dishes a lot for me.
Really?
Thank
That's
you.
nice. Thank you,
Happy
Patty.
birthday.
Thanks. Oh, can you back up a little bit so you're not in the sun? Are we out of the sun now? Yeah. Okay. What's your name?
I'm Jessie.
And how do you know Grace?
I'm her granddaughter.
How would you describe Grace?
She's a very sweet, giving person. Very loyal, very loving. Yeah, sweet is probably the best description.
Can you think of any stories or anything where she was there that when you think of her, of what she did or said or acted like?
She's just, there's many because I'm her granddaughter and I'm with her all the time. I guess she's a really great grandmother. She's a really great great-grandmother. She's very, she's always been there for us. She's always, anything you need, she is there. So that's probably it. Like a story?
One story out of you?
Let's see.
No hurry. Well,
what about this?
That's sorry. I'll do some singing in the meantime. Ya da 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 da. A present you got. Did you ever travel with her?
No, we would go to Auburn. I mean, we would go and see my aunt together.
Oh, what did you do when you went there?
So I think my fondest memory when I was a kid is she had a stack of books at her house, and that's what I would do when I went there, is books, because she's a librarian. So she always had books for me to read, and now I make sure that both of my in-laws and my parents both have a set of books, so that they have the same, so that my kids have the same experience that I did at her house.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest one that I remember as
That's
a
a
kid,
good one.
having her around for. Yeah, she's always around. So.
Do you want to wish her a happy birthday then to the camera?
All right. Grandma, I hope you really had an awesome 90th birthday, and I hope there's many more to come, and we love you, and I'm glad you're here to see all of this awesomeness, all your family. So, thank you.
That's really nice. Thank you. You are?
John Moyer, Grace's son.
How long have you known her?
68
8 years.
Wow. And how old are you? 68. Okay. How would you describe your mom?
Well, she's extremely caring. I think that one of the things in the community that, like when I'm talking to people and they say, oh, are you Grace Moyer's son? And then I say, yeah, and they'll say, oh, I love your mother. Well, that's probably, and then all of the different people that she's cared for, and all the pets that have been dumped on her that she's turned their lives.
Really? Like which ones?
Oh, the parrot. Yeah, 54-year-old parrot that she had and took care of for 54 years. Yeah.
What did the parrot do?
Nothing. It yells and bites people. It's a horrible, horrible bird. To everybody but her. I mean, the bird loved her. She could pet it, but anybody else, they couldn't stand her. So.
Were there any rules for you growing up?
Sure. Ones that I don't care about remembering. Ones that I probably broke for the most part.
Was she strict at all?
No, not at all.
She was fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any stories?
Well, she just turned it over to my dad. So.
He was a little more strict.
Yeah, he was the hard guy. But no, she wasn't strict.
Any Grace stories come to mind? Like when you tell family stories, something or something?
If you gave me time, I'd think of something. But
okay.
Not on this.
Well, maybe in a little bit.
Okay.
Share one.
Great.
Okay. You want to say happy birthday to her?
Happy birthday, Mom. I'm glad you enjoyed the day.
And you've already told some good stories, but if you have more, that would be good. Thank you. Although I might have to get on camera too. It's so lovely looking. No, okay. Are we recording now? I'll ask you each to introduce yourself, your name, and then I'll ask us a couple questions and how you know Grace.
Great. Well, I'm the pastor here at the church. My name's Bart Tarman, and we named our kitchen after Grace. She's God's grace to us.
And I'm Linda Tarman, the pastor's wife, and I first met her in the kitchen of the church, and she was always serving and cheerful, and I loved her the minute that I met her.
Absolutely. I've been here for years, and she was Marion Walters. She was always here, always in the kitchen working.
And my name, Fran Voss, and I have known Grace over 40 years and count her as a dear, dear friend and a hard worker and a sweet, sweet spirit.
Very nice.
Yes. Darling.
Fran is the wife of the late pastor who was here before me. In fact, this where we're having the party today is named after she and her husband. And the kitchen is named after Grace. So this church is very much about these ladies.
All of us. We have a wonderful pastor.
Come on in, Don.
And wife.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to join in. How long have I known Grace? I've known.
Can you back up just a little bit so we're not in the sun? Okay.
Sure.
And your name is?
Don Risden. And Grace, let's see, I've known Grace since I was about 5 years old. She was a librarian with my grandmother Lily at the Carpentry Library. And they did a lot of good things there, forming the little children's book time and all of that. And her and my grandfather and grandmother were all friends because my grandfather was in the service station business along with her husband, John. So they've been longtime family friends.
Very nice. Now, I wonder if any of you have a story about Grace, something she did, said, that comes to mind.
Well, he told you about the kitchen.
Well, and she would, when people would be leaving, she'd be chasing them out to their car to give them food on their way out. Nobody got out of here without some food.
Any other stories come to mind?
Grace was also a neighbor. I lived on Vallecito Road, and she would have the young kids over for cookies and things. So she's been a great entertainer for as long as I've known her.
And a good librarian, too.
Very good librarian.
Okay.
Well, and she embodies her name. She is pure grace. That's what I experience her. So, yeah, it's wonderful.
I'll wish her a happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Grace. Okay, thanks, guys. You're welcome. You want to talk? You have something you'd like to say to the microphone? Okay, what's your name? What's your name?
Luke,
And how old are you?
6.
And what's your favorite candy?
Everything.
Okay, correct. Now, your name is?
Trudy.
And how do you know Grace?
I'm her ex-daughter-in-law.
Nice. And how would you describe her?
Oh, she's wonderful. She's right here. Fine. Good. Aren't you?
I'm fine.
Are you going to cut some cake?
Oh, I'm going to cut my cake right now.
Hey, Pat.
Yeah?
Would you care to say hi to Grace on camera? You'd rather not? Okay.
No, I'm fine. I just saw her this morning.
Could I ask you how you know Grace?
Sure. Well, I'm related to Grace. My father was first cousins with her husband, Jack. So I've known Grace my whole life. And she's a lovely woman. And I've come up from Fresno for her birthday. So I love her.
Is it on that plaque on the wall? Can you point the mic, Charlie? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grace. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you all. Wherever you come from, it's just so good to see all of you. Thank you very, very much. Yay! Make a wish. Help me, Luke.
Everybody gets a slice and one to go. Wow. It's lovely. There you go. So you are?
My name is Terry, and I went to high school with John, graduated with him, and I've just known Grace off and on forever. Trudy, her daughter-in-law, is one of my best friends. Her granddaughter Jessie, I have a daughter that age, they knew each other.
How would you describe Grace?
Oh, kind and dear and sweet. She's always been that way, and I love her.
Thanks a lot. So your name is?
John Milton.
How do you know Grace?
She is an aunt of Jill's. Jill is I guess, Jill is a cousin of John, so I'm not sure what that makes her. We call her Aunt Grace.
And how would you describe her?
Warm and generous.
Nice. Any stories come to mind?
Well, not really, because we haven't had that close a contact lately, and I just know the times I have visited her at Christmas time, and it just was always so welcoming, and she's always a pleasure to be with.
Hey, thanks a lot. And your name is?
Chris Joles.
And how do you know Grace?
I met Grace through my girlfriend Kim Sharp, and Grace is Kim's grandmother.
Nice. How would you describe Grace?
One of the most fantastic people you ever meet in your life. Most caring, worries about everything. Great person.
Any stories come to mind about Grace?
Oh, not offhand right now.
Okay.
Not offhand.
And lastly, I want to say happy birthday to her in the lounge here.
Yes. Happy birthday to you, Grace. We love you.
So let's see, what's your name?
Alexis.
And how do you know Grace?
She's my great aunt.
How would you describe her?
She's nice, friendly.
Do you have any Grace stories?
Yes, when I was little, I used to come over and spend the night. And we would always come to this church. I would come with her. It was very fun.
What did you do when you spent the night?
We would go walk around. We'd walk to the beach, spend time at her house, watch TV, different things.
And anything else you'd like to say?
Happy birthday, Aunt Grace.
And what's going on in your life?
Oh, I just recently graduated from modeling school. And I'm a junior, and I raise animals. That's it.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, what's your story?
Okay, Grace was having her house termited. This was when my mother was alive, and so she asked my mom if she could come and spend the night with her for 2 nights, which was fine. However, she didn't really mention that she also was going to bring the parrot, Marty. Grace had the parrot for, I don't know, 30, 40 years at least. So here comes Grace down the street rolling her parrot in the big cage, brings the parrot in the back door, and the little dog just went crazy. Never seen the parrot before. Well, finally my mother, who is in the front room, said she wanted the parrot out there so she could enjoy the parrot. Anyway, it was a wonderful slumber party for 2 nights, but the parrot was the hit of the party. And that was Marty. And Marty has just gone to parrot heaven about 6 months ago, I think now.
Okay. And your name again is?
Margie Bartlett.
And you know Grace how?
Grace is my neighbor and my mom's best friend.